I represent the Northwest, which is a huge region going from the Welsh border to the Scottish border and includes obviously Barrow and Sellafield. I discovered today that the guys, Phil and the guys from Burnley, I was in Burnley then, and I was working at Mid Pennine Arts on a job creation programme doing socially useful work because of the crisis. Isn't that interesting? We never even knew each other. But I was thinking a bit more about what would happen if we joined those dots up then, because I think the dots are being joined up now. And I say that partly because of the film that we were shown and your words about media and creativity. Molly mentioned the word creativity. Before I came into politics, I worked in theatre. I'm a poet, I'm a writer. I'm a cultural activist first and foremost, and I think we have to join up those dots that make our society more holistic, more human, more compassionate. Those are the values that we really, really care about. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about Cumbria and then just going to throw some words out there. But Cumbria, it's very peripheral, and Barrow is the most peripheral bit, and that is part of the problem that I face, certainly when we're talking about what we're going to offer as an alternative up there. There's very poor infrastructure. I mean, HS2 is no good for anybody beyond Manchester, frankly. Even if you're trying to get to Bolton and Burnley, it's really, really difficult. So we have an infrastructure problem. We've got really, really poor health and a lot of poverty in Cumbria. There's nothing for young people to do. I mean, truly, they can't get on a bus anywhere because the buses don't run anymore. And there's a brain drain. And then last year we had the most devastating floods in the country. So everything we have been talking about today is also about joining up those dots too, because the people in Cumbria were the victims of climate change. They became climate refugees, and this December many of those people will still not be in their homes. They are still refugees. They lost their jobs, they lost their businesses, they lost their homes, and some people lost, they lost many things. So for me, there are massive links to be made between all these different things. Now, when we had the terrorist attack in Brussels, okay, I had an office in Workington at the time on the west coast of Cumbria, and whenever there's a terrorist alert or an attack anywhere in Europe, okay, all the people in local government up and down that country get a phone call, and Sellafield was put on high alert. And Sellafield at the minute, I think, is the number one terrorist target in this country. So if Trident goes ahead, well, it is going ahead at the moment, where does that put Trident? Okay, that's something else to think about, that we are not safer because we have Trident. We are less safe because we have these things. And if it's true just for a civil energy generator, it's going to be even more true for something which is about conflict, which is a weapon. So I wanted people to think about that. Trident is a so-called stealth vessel, which means it's not supposed to be detectable. But as we know, the world has moved on, and cyber communication and drones now mean that the Trident submarines will everybody will know where they are. I mean, we'll be able to Google it and have a look at it on our computers. Okay? So it's already obsolete, folks. It's not a going concern right from the start. I just wanted then to come and talk a little bit about alternative uses for military spaces. And that's because I don't know how many people know about Greenham Common. Greenham Common is now an art centre, folks. Right? For those of you that didn't know, it's an art centre. Right? It has a whole range of small industrial units for artists from different countries to come and work together on peace projects. There is also an amazing secret radio communications station somewhere in Latvia where there are artists rebuilding the antenna and the communication systems so that they can actually broadcast citizen journalism and do sound art. So I'd like to propose that we use these spaces for creativity, for collaboration. I think, and during the crisis, The only industry, I think, that continued to grow and didn't shrink was the cultural industries. And the cultural industries also bring tourism into our regions. And I wanted to say, you know, Cumbria, a lot of people, what they think about is the Lake District and the mountains and all the rest of it. But whilst we've got those dreadful things happening on the coast there, actually people don't go any further. They kind of stop. So those western peripheral communities never ever benefit. So one more thing, which is tidal lagoons. I've had a meeting with tidal lagoons. In the National Infrastructure Plan, there were plans for 2 tidal lagoons on the west coast of Cumbria and 1 on the coast of Lancashire and in other parts of of our island. So tidal lagoons are in there, but because the Conservatives, they will just push that further down the priority list now. But we need to speak up about those alternatives. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Molly Scott Cato, Julie Ward.